Hi, good afternoon, folks. In this video, we're going to take a look at who's the best hitting teams in the league and who are the worst. Coming up. And yes, the motivation was last night's game for me to do this video. It was enough. I've had enough of the softness of the Sabres. I really have, guys. And for you folks that think that hitting is not part of the game anymore, that will never be true about hockey, just like fighting will always be in the game to some extent. But hitting is an element of the game that can turn momentum of a game right around. You can be in a game down 2-0 and one of your leaders flattens a guy in the ice. You're pumped on the bench, believe me. Any of you that have played competitive levels know this. All right, so let's take a look at this. I've got 3 columns, which is the percentage of hits per game, how many hits they've done so far this season, and in how many games, okay? Let's keep going. Let's go right into this. I don't want to drag this video out long. I want to make it under 10 minutes if I can. Okay, so coming in at number 1 with 458 hits in 15 games for a 30.53. Only the 2 here have a percentage in the hundreds, and these 2 because it's a tie. But they got 1 hit more, so they get the nod, of course. So 458 hits in 15 games, 30.53 goes to the Ottawa Senators. They come in at number 1. And if there's anything impressive about Ottawa's game, I knew it was their physical play. I just didn't know they were number 1. Ottawa's going to turn things around, folks. You watch. They're going to turn things around. They will. I seen them last year. They're just in a tougher division. Now they got the whole COVID and the whole, there's a whole bunch of stuff they've had to deal with. But when they come out of it, they're going to be okay, this team. Now, number 2, 457 hits in 15 games for 30.47% per game are the New York Islanders. They come in at number 2. Coming in at number 3, 439 hits and 15 games also for 29.3% per game. Well, 29.3 hits per game. Sorry, not percent. 29.3 hits per game. Boston. No surprise there. Boston's been a hard-hitting team for all your life, right, guys? For you folks in your 20s. Tell me once you've seen the Bruins soft. Maybe during the Briere-Drury era, and even then I bet they were okay. Okay, coming in at number 4, 509 hits in 18 games for 28.3 hits per game. Which surprised me is Chicago. Chicago come in at number 4. So that's a very good sign for their rebuild, retool, or call it what you want in Chicago. That's a very impressive statistic. Better than I thought. I didn't know Chicago would even be in the top 10, to be honest. That's a very, very impressive number. All right, coming in at number 5, 469 hits in 17 games for 27.6 per game. Pittsburgh. And if you want to know why Pittsburgh's been impressive this year, you've seen it even against us. They're not scared to take anybody out on the boards. They're not. This is a rough and tough team still. And a lot of that's due to Crosby. Crosby plays a hard-nosed game. As much as he's hated by everybody, he's a tough customer. All right, number 6, 490 hits in 18 games for 27.2 hits a game. Our good buddies, the New York Rangers. And this is typical fashion of what they were talking about yesterday going into the game. This is what they were talking about, that they got to control the game physically. 6th best hitting team in the league. And, there's a lot of good things I can say about the Rangers besides their hitting game, but they not only have the skating and passing game, they got the physical game too. And they're younger than us. Come on. Number 7, at 530 hits in 20 games, at 26.5 a game, who have not lost that identity, is Montreal. Montreal's still hanging around, doing their thing. They might snap out of the funk they're in. I don't know what the goaltending. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens in Montreal. But if they can keep this identity to their game, there's a chance they can snap out of their funk this year and get back to 500 eventually if they get on a run. All right, number 8, with 448 hits in 17 games for 26.4 per game, are the Champs at number 8. And you'll always see Tampa Bay in the top 10, guys, in hits. They don't just play the finesse game. No. This team plays the 60-minute game, the whole thing. Coming in at number 9, 474 hits in 18 games, who I thought would be a little higher, but they're still solid if you look at this. 474 hits in 18 games, 26.3 per game. The Florida Panthers. Coming in, rounding out the top 10, 470 hits in 18 games, 26.1 per game average. Seattle come in. So impressive stat for Seattle, their first year in the league. That's still very impressive. You know, we seen it when we played them. That's how they beat up on us that night. You guys remember? Come on. All right, number 11, who I thought would be in the top 10 that just missed out. 25 hits per game. Well, let's go here first. 425 hits, 17 games, 25.0. 25 hits even per game. Winnipeg. Number 12, 386 hits in 16 games, 24.1 hits per game average. Dallas. Move that up a little. Number 13, 424 hits in 19 games, 22.3 per game average in hitting. Washington. And number 14, 353 hits in 16 games for 22.1 per game average. Philadelphia. Number 15, 371 hits in 17 games for 21.8 per game average. In 15th, the Edmonton Oilers. That's if you're Edmonton, you're happy to be in the top half. Very happy. 391 hits in 18 games for 21.7 per game average. Minnesota. So we round up. That's the top half of the board. Let's keep going. Number 17. 400 in 17th place, 410 hits, 19 games, 21.58 per game average. This has to be in the hundreds because we have a tie. And coming in at 18 at 21.56 per game average, 388 hits in 18 games is Vancouver. Number 19, 407 hits in 19 games, 21.4 per game average. Arizona. Oh, we're going to get tight here. I should have put a little bit more space, but anyway. Number 20, 402 hits in 19 games, 21.2 per game average. Calgary. Now we're down to the bottom dozen. Number 21, 357 hits in 17 games, 21.0 even per game average. San Jose. Number 22, 356 hits in 17 games, 20.9 per game average. Nashville. Number 23, 375 hits in 18 games, 20.8 per game average. You see how tight it is, eh? God. Is Vegas. Vegas have not addressed that. They have not addressed that. That was a problem for them last year, and they were exposed up the middle. They addressed that much, but before the playoffs, that has to be addressed. Next, 24, 331 hits in 16 games for a 20.7 per game average is Carolina. Number 25, 401 hits in 20 games, 20.1 per game average. These are the same suspects as last year. Toronto. Remember, this was an issue with Toronto before the playoffs. It still is. I know they're playing well, but the regular season don't mean squat right now if you're a Leaf fan. And here's another one. Repeat offender from last year. They've improved. They were dead last year. 276 hits in 14 games, 19.7 per game average is Colorado. If Colorado stay in here all year, I guarantee you Colorado will not win the cup again. They've got to get a culture in that dressing room that they're intimidating. And they're intimidating to skate against, but not to play against. It's a big difference. Number 27, 312 hits in 16 games, 19.5 per game average is New Jersey. But New Jersey, again, young, like some of the teams that we're going to go through here. Still, they want to look at that. Number 28, 333 hits in 18 games for 18.5 per game average. Los Angeles. Number 29. Here we go. 359 hits in 20 games for 18.0 even average. Detroit. 30th. 299 hits in 17 games for 17.6 per game average. St. Louis. Now, our boys are still not on this board, as you've noticed. Number 31, 236 hits in 15 games, 15.7 per game average. Columbus. And coming in dead last in the NHL, folks, are the Buffalo Sabres. 15.7, I said, 31st. Sabres have 244 hits in 17 games for a 14.4 per game average. I'm glad I did this video, even just for me. I needed to see this, to understand this. Yesterday's game for me was just, it was like an emergency. I swear, guys, after that game, I just continued in my head with this game, what's going on. I said, I got to do my digging into this, really dig into this and look at all the games and these numbers and see with my own eyes what's going on. And folks, I mean, this is, you know, look who we're playing today. We're playing Columbus, they're 31st. If we don't out-hit these guys today, we're in trouble even if we win this game, in my opinion. In my opinion. You know, and anybody that says you're chasing a game or more teams win when they're no, by the playoffs, this is one of the most important statistics going into the playoffs, who your identity is. This, you know, you can have a team for so long that, okay, you know, that they don't hit too much, but when you're dead last, it's an issue. The Buffalo Sabres right now, guys, should not be dead last in any statistic. None. Zero. It shouldn't be tolerated in any statistic. I'm wondering if the owners and management even know this. I'm guessing they do. But if they do, how can they not be addressing it, right? It doesn't make sense, guys. Really, I look at this, it does not make sense. How is this a plan for success? It's just not. It's not. It's going to backfire. These teams, you could say Ottawa's future looks bright. Chicago, we don't know yet. We don't know yet. Chicago. But Chicago really played a good game yesterday, didn't they? You know, I know they let in shots, but my God, you know, Fleury was on his game. There was momentum, I guarantee. I'd have to look at the hitting in that game because, you know, Vancouver's not too bad. I mean, they're 18th. But the Rangers, you know, Gallant, if there was any reason I wanted Gallant as our coach, and this isn't a hit on Granato at all, but I wanted Gallant because I knew he would bring the physical element to our game. I knew it. And it's what he's going to do in New York. He's going to teach them first, before playing the whole transition game, he's going to teach them first how to be men and hit. That's what he's going to teach. I mark my words on this. Ask any Ranger fan, and I guarantee you they're going to agree with what I'm saying. He's going to teach them to be a physical, hard-nosed hockey team, and then he'll work on the whole pizzazz of looking good going up the ice with the puck. This is a team that's going the very right direction, and it's the reason why they won that game yesterday. The win found them because of their play. All right, I'm still frustrated, as you can tell. I'm going into the next video. See you there.